honor someone else. So I would love to introduce and honor a wonderful member of our community in the hypnosis world who unfortunately came down with the flu and was sick and could not be here. And so the person that I want to introduce to you all is the absolutely fabulous and wonderful Anthony Gitch. And so you can see his picture here, and I want to read what he was going to talk about and a little bit about him so that you know, and he will be recording his talk, and we will make sure that you all have access to that since he couldn't be here this morning. But Anthony had planned to talk about from modality to method, building an interdisciplinary process that works. And Anthony Gitch is a hypnotherapist, an educator, and an interdisciplinary method developer, nearly 2 decades of experience working at the intersection of nervous system regulation, language, and therapeutic practice. He's the creator of the NeuroRelief Method, a structured process designed to produce consistent outcomes across disciplines. He trains professionals to move beyond techniques and build clear, repeatable methods that last. And so, again, Anthony's been such a wonderful support of our organization, of our community, and actually sits on the board for hypnotherapists here in Washington State. And so with his, like he said, nearly 2 decades of practice and experience, and for everything that he does, we want to honor him, and we would love for all the board members to come on up, because we are going to be presenting him with a Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm so sad that it was in his absence, but he will get to see this, and we're going to have all the board members come up. We're going to take a photo with his photo there, or of his award there, and send that to him, and make sure that he knows how much we absolutely love and appreciate him. Yep, so we're going to go this way.
We're just one big happy family, so if
we're going to get cozy.
We're good. But usually when we get our Lifetime Achievement Award, we take a picture with the honoree. And so we're just going to send this maybe to Anthony sometime today so he knows he's being celebrated. So, oh good, Stephanie, are you taking this picture for us? Thank you. Okay, everyone ready? You want his picture on the slide? We would have to, yeah, we're good, okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And Anthony has done an amazing job with the state of Washington. Anthony's done an amazing job with the state of Washington helping hypnosis to be honored and recognized, and I'd like to compliment him on that too.
Very good, that's so true.
That's for all of us.
That's why he's getting us an award. So thank you so much.
Hi there, I'm Anthony Gitch, and I am glad to be here, glad to be talking to you about what an interdisciplinary kind of method and process can become for you, and what it can mean for your business, and what it can mean for hypnosis overall. Like I said, my name is Anthony. I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I am a member of the NGH Washington chapter. I'm a registered hypnotherapist here in Washington State. I'm a certified hypnosis instructor. I'm a certified control practitioner, trainer. I am also a massage therapist. I am a nationally approved continuing education provider for massage therapists, and I have a nationally approved continuing education certification program for massage therapists as well. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about. Is I created a process, an interdisciplinary process. I took a method that I was using and turned it into something that was scalable and teachable to people in another industry, and that industry is massage therapy. I've been a licensed massage therapist starting in Oregon, I think in 2007, 2008 is when I got my license, originally in 2008. And so since then, I have become also certified in pain management with hypnotherapy. And I wanted a way that I could kind of start to blend these things, because as we're all aware as hypnotherapists, not always are clients comfortable coming to us for hypnotherapy hypnotherapy interventions, right? And so as the chair for the Washington State Department of Health Advisory Committee for hypnotherapists and certified counselors, it's kind of my role, one of my main responsibilities is to expand the field and expand the hopefully prolificness of hypnosis in the state of Washington. And we've got a great support mechanism to do that through the state, right? And so I'm proud to be a part of that. And so at any rate, getting back to this, the NeuroRelief Method, which is, it's a blending of autogenics, which we are for, if you're a hypnotherapist who's at all involved in any kind of pain management stuff, then you know what autogenics is. We know how we use it. You know how we use it in pain management. And in massage therapy, of course, we do a lot of, it's all hands-on stuff, right? And there is no crossing over into the language world. In fact, hypnosis, according to the NCB-TMB, which is the National Certification Board of Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork, they absolutely forbid the use of hypnosis in any kind of massage therapy program, or for massage therapists to use hypnosis while a person is also getting body work. And there's reasons for that. There's safety reasons for that. There's perceived safety reasons for that, right? And that's because there's a major difference there's a power differential there, huge power differential, right? Because you've got potentially a naked person under the sheets on the body. You've got power over them in a lot of ways already, particularly if you're a male in this environment. And now you're going to introduce hypnosis, right? Where people already believe that something was going to be done to them rather than with them. And so this is why hypnosis has always been expressly forbidden to be used during massage therapy. Any kind of legal massage therapy. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the world, but I know in the world of legalities that it's not something that was expressly forbidden. And I wanted to find a way to kind of not circumvent that, but a way that I could introduce some of the power of the mind, the way that we hypnotists understand that, into the work that a lot of massage therapists do to help their clients have a longer lasting effect with the body work they were receiving. That brought on the birth of the NeuroRelief Method. And I honed in it and figured it all out and stayed within scope and created this process, sent it off to the sent it off to the board for approval. And after many months and many meetings, it was actually accepted. And I'm really proud about that. And I did it because I want to expand the world that we understand as hypnotherapy. And I want to introduce to people, I got a lot of my clients through massage therapy anyway, but this gave me a tool that I could use to even provide a greater level of service for the people that I was working with, and to help, of course, boost the name of hypnosis. So, and this is where you all come in. Today, we're at the end here, we're going to be talking about how you can actually create an interdisciplinary process or method based upon what your loves are, what your passions are, because that's what it takes. It doesn't just take, I'm going to do this and do that, and I'm going to, throw something together. It takes time to build these things, and it takes an understanding of both worlds and an understanding of what is needed within those worlds, and that's how you create something that is scalable and that is saleable, right? And that's ultimately what this is about, is something that you can use to hopefully build your business, to create that security for the rest of your life, right? And we all know this because the public doesn't wake up wanting hypnosis. They wake up wanting to write, heal, create, move, and perform better, right? That's just the bottom line. And so this is why the NeuroRelief Method works so well, and why it was accepted into the industry, and why it's still really starting to take hold, is because it doesn't, and I never asked massage therapists to become hypnotists. In fact, I gave them a way to use the hypnotic principles in what they were already doing. And that's what it is I want you to be able to do. Find that niche where you were already You already got the hypnosis. Now we just need to figure out what else your other passion is and how you can build on that, right? If you're a writer, for example, you can create, mix that with hypnosis, become a creative trance trainer, right? There's all sorts of ways that you can elevate what it is that you're doing on both different levels and bring in all the aspects of who you are to create something more for everybody, right? And so here's kind of the truth. If you keep selling hypnosis as hypnosis, you compete with everyone else around you in the neighborhood. However, if you embed hypnosis into a passion-driven discipline, you absolutely stand alone, yeah? And I think it's not even about standing alone. It's about being able to create something that is yours and that people can recognize you for, and that people can go, yep, I know what that is, and I know exactly who to send that to you for, because this guy's created a name for themselves. And we hear about these folks in hypnosis all the time, right? People that, Mary Lee LeBay, we all know that she is the person you go to when it comes to past life stuff, right? There's people who have created names for themselves based upon what they have done and how they've done it, and their success and their proven track records, yeah? So, so if you embed hypnosis into one of your passion-driven disciplines, you start to expand the field, and I believe that with everything, you don't get louder when you want to create something, when you want to get something to take hold. You get wider, right? Wider works better than louder does, because louder people just close their ears. If you get wider, however, you're going to expand what it is that you're doing, and people are going to be able to feel that, and they're going to become interested in it. That's the way I believe it. So, and on Monday, when I was thinking about some things, I was playing my normal daily Wordle game with my friend Stephanie, who is an amazing hypnotherapist, and she's also an amazing an attorney. And I was thinking because I was thinking, well, gosh, what are all the different ways that other people can blend these? Because I was thinking about this talk, and I wanted to make sure I had some good solid examples. And that was the person I first thought of, is that there's a lot of ways that even in the business of law, that if you're those two things, because I know another attorney who is in the world of hypnosis, Lainey Gonzalez, right? I think a lot of you know her. She's another attorney. But at any rate, let's say that if we already know, most people know that law is about, if you watch anything on TV, it's about a state, right? It's pressure, it's fear, it's focus, it's decision-making, it's high stakes. Hypnosis, we know, already plugs into all of those things, right? And if we are able to recognize that hypnosis plugs into those things, and those are things that create problems for people, right? Pressure, fear, focus, instant decision makings, those all create anxiety, yeah? So let's just say that Stephanie, for example, wanted to find ways that she could create programs or methods for other folks. And these may already exist, I don't know, but these are what I came up with. A trial and performance, and trial lawyers could use trial performance and courtroom state training, right? I mean, that's something, here's the problem it solves: nerves, cognitive freeze, over-talking, loss of authority. You blend hypnosis with litigation psychology, and now you've got a program that trains lawyers to enter a controlled focus state before court. They learn to regulate their adrenaline on the stand. They learn to speak from grounded authority instead of anxiety. It's not about relaxation, it's about controlled emotional states, particularly when somebody's under pressure, right? Let's say that you're a deposition person, or you're working with testimony conditioning, yeah? It becomes better when you are working with those things if you learn how to stay calm, you learn how to answer only when what is asked of you. If you make sure that you learn not to be hijacked emotionally by the other side when they're relentlessly pounding on you to get you to break, right? That alone for a lot of law firms is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And who does it serve? Witnesses, plaintiffs, corporate representatives, because saying too much, panic, memory fog, all those things can cost someone a lot of money, particularly in kind of contractual sort of law, right? The number 3 one I got here is a lawyer burnout recovery, right? Who it serves, any kind of attorney. The problem, exhaustion, cynicism, emotional collapse. You blend hypnosis with kind of emotional state regulation stuff. You get a professional grade reset so they don't quit or implode, right? You're teaching them state regulation, and you're introducing it as something other than what they already think that they understand hypnosis to be, right? Let's say that you're a litigator, right? You need jury psychology. A lot of those people pay a lot of money for that kind of stuff. So there's, who it serves. Again, litigators, misreading juries and tone mismatch. You blend hypnosis with precision dynamics, and now you've got lawyers that are able to, on the spot, regulate what is happening around them based upon real-time feedback. So there's a lot of different ways, and I came up with that, I think, in just a couple minutes when I was thinking about it, just because I like to kind of watch some lawyer shows anyway. And so it's when you have these other passions, I think sometimes we separate our lives. We compartmentalize a little bit too much. I know that I had been doing that for years when it came to hypnosis and massage. I'm like, there's no way I can blend these two things because these are the rules that govern the world of massage therapy. And then these are the rules that govern the world of hypnotherapy. And finally, is what I did is when I decided to stop recognizing the walls and started looking more at what the intent and what the balance could be, now I had opportunities that I could work within and obviously create something within that was acceptable for the certification board. And so here's what I want you to do. This is going to take about 10 minutes, and I want you to, I call it a blend your method exercise. And this isn't really about ideas. This is about forcing you to kind of see where your leverage really lies, okay? What kind of areas you're already able to work within and that you already hold some kind of power in. And so the first one here is your inventory. You're going to give you a couple minutes to do this. I want you to write 3 things down. Number 1, hypnosis, right? This is the engine. You already have this engine. You already have that. So number 1, hypnosis, written down, check mark. Number 2, your strongest non-hypnosis skill. For me, that was massage therapy, right? It could be coaching, it could be art, fitness, writing, teaching, sales, trauma work, music. Somebody else in this industry who we all know and is part of the NGH Washington, who is blending and creating an interdisciplinary process, is Faith. Faith is creating processes where she works with dementia and hypnosis, areas that most people would not have considered or thought about creating a process interdisciplinary and for. So there's that. And now let me see, where's my second page here? And number 3, a real problem people pay to solve, right? That's what I want you to look at now. Let me get this up. So pain, focus, confidence, creativity blocks, burnout, performance, anxiety, etc. Tell them, all right? So this is what I really want you to understand. It's important for everyone when they're writing this part up. If you can't really come up with a kind of a pang sort of a problem that exists out there, then you can't really create a business model around it or a process model around it. That's just kind of an idea, right? And I want you to have something real, something solid that you can build here, right? So step 1, inventory. You're going to write down hypnosis, right? That's your engine, okay? Number 2, you're going to write down your strongest non-hypnosis skill. And number 3, I want you to write down a real problem that people already pay to solve, right? It's the first part of this. That's step 1. I'm going to give you a few moments to do that. And remember, when you're thinking about this, don't put limits on yourself. Right? Don't say, well, they don't allow hypnosis and that kind of thing. Well, I couldn't do that. Well, no. Here's the deal. Here's where I want you to remember this, folks. You are the person that people come to that has the answers that nobody else has. And so you, in fact, have the ability to think beyond where other people put limits, right? You're already doing that for folks. So let's do this for yourself and what it is that you want to create. So here we go. Step number 2, I want you to, this is what we call the force blend, right? I'm going to give you about 4 minutes to do this. This is it. So on the page, I want you to write down who your people are. My people are blah, 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 whatever that may be. You're going to write my problem. The problem that you see out there is whatever you see that problem to be from step 1 above. And that second skill is that thing, again, that you bring down from up above, right? That second passion that you have. And now you're going to fill in this sentence. You can get 4 minutes to fill in this sentence anyway. I help blank solve blank using blank powered by hypnotic blank, right? So however you know, whether that's past life regression or that's hypnotic pain management or whatever it may be. Here's a couple examples. I help writers overcome blocks using creative flow training powered by hypnosis. I help writers overcome blocks using creative flow training powered by hypnosis. And so recognize something that there's something I want you to recognize here. Most of these things, when I talk about expansiveness, they're not talking about single client kind of experiences. Oftentimes, these are things that you're going to be able to teach people how to utilize within their practices, or if you're working, hopefully you're working this with groups of people, right? Because there's no reason why you can't have a whole classroom. Think about the immense amount of energy and power that would be in a hypnotic, in a room full of people under a hypnotic kind of trance doing artwork or doing music, what kind of connection that would create, right? These are the sorts of experiences that I want you guys to think about, right? The only limitations are the ones that you put on them, right? So go beyond what you think is normal, what you think everybody wants, and what is your passion? What do you love? What is something outrageous possibly that, might turn into the next big thing? You don't know what it is. Don't cap it at this point, right? You could be, I help chronic pain clients recover by using body-based regulation powered by hypnosis. It's kind of what I did, right? I don't want abstractions, though. I don't want any transformation of one thing into another, because that's not what we're doing here. This is about blending things, right? This is not about recreating one particular thing. So keep that in mind. Again, I'm going to give you a few moments. I'm looking at the clock here. I'm going to give you a few moments to do that. So let me tell you a little bit about this again, just to make sure you understand. So on the page, you're going to write down my people, and in that area, you're going to put down who are your people, right? Who are the people that already pay to solve these sorts of problems, right? Who are your clients? Who are your customers there? And what is the problem? Is the problem pain? Is it, whatever it may be? What is the problem? And what is the second skill? What is that other passion that you have that you would love to be able to blend in to some sort of hypnotic process? And once you have all those things, you're going to fill in the sentence, I help blank solve blank using blank, powered by hypnotic blank, or just powered by hypnosis. Yeah. And here is step number 3. This is the reality test, all right? This is again, something that you have to be able to kind of validate these things, or at least put them up against something to see how they may work. But again, I say do not limit yourself. Don't allow yourself to think beyond what everybody else is already doing. Right? It's not about recreating the wheel. It's about tightening the spokes in a different kind of fashion, right? Creating a different ride. Yeah, it's about the suspension of the wheel at this point, and about how the wheel is being turned. And so that's what I want you to think about with this. You're not recreating anything. You are simply changing the performance of the said thing, right? The hypnosis, the engine, right? And you're just looking at what a different doorway could be. And so again, here is step number 3. And I want you to ask yourself, would a stranger understand what I do in 10 seconds, 15 seconds, right? If not, then you need to refine, right? It's very easy to explain to people what I do when I talk about NeuroRelief, for example. I settle the nervous system with body work through gentle touch. That's it. People understand that. I create stillness in the body, right? And I do that with gentleness rather than force. And so that's something that doesn't really need much more of an explanation. And that's why it's important for you to be able to just calmly and clearly be able to state what it is that you're offering. And then once that is planted, now you've opened the door to the potential of where that can go and what that can mean for the person that you're speaking with. Because again, could mean something different for everybody, right? And that's the beautiful thing about these sorts of statements. When you can come up with something like that, is it's going to allow them to figure out what that could mean for them and what the benefits could be for them, right? And then here's step number, so I'm going to, again, step number 3 is I want you to really be able to write a statement out that in 10 or 15 seconds explains exactly what it is that you do and does so confidently and with a little bit of authority. You know, there is even, it's really important that anytime we're offering anything like this, and always with hypnosis, there's got to be a level of authority in the way that you speak with your clients, right? That doesn't mean that you can't be empathetic. It doesn't mean that you can't be all those other things that you're supposed to be, but speaking with a level of authority provides a level of confidence, and it provides a level of safety for your clients, right? And I think that that's really important for us all to understand. When we present something to a client and we are afraid, or we are unsure of what it is that we're talking about and that sort of thing, then it starts to crumble the rapport that they have, and they start to wonder, is this going to work, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have a human conversation with folks, right? I mean, and demonstrate where, you know, anyway, we all work a little bit differently, but I think that when you lead with confidence and you present with a level of authority in what it is that you're doing, then you provide the space for people to step into to actually become better and to heal, right? So make sure that you can explain to a stranger what you do in under 15 seconds, okay? And the anchor it, number 4 here, this is the last part of this thing. I want you to write a statement that my interdisciplinary method will exist in this world when, right? And, you know, is that going to be, how are you going to present it to the world, right? How are you going to put it together? How are you going to design said whatever it may be, right? Because there's the idea, there's the concept, right, which is a great plan, but plans take action, right? And it's kind of like when you're thinking about the football players, they're up there, they're drawing all their action stuff, all their stuff on the board, and we're going to go this way, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. That's a great plan, but getting out on the field and actually playing, and that's where you set that plan into action, right? And that's where you actually move the ball down the field, and that's where you actually start to create something for yourself. And so it's important that you're able to take these things to the next level. And you have to believe that you can do it. Now, here's something that I'm going to recap some of this first here. I want you to remember this. Hypnosis is the engine, right? The engine is the engine is the engine. Yeah. It's the wheel, we'll also say. It's the wheel. Now, how you determine what car you set the engine in, that's up to you. How you design the suspension for the wheel, right? That's all up to you, right? That's where I want you to take your creativity and your skills and build something for yourselves. Build something that is all yours, that you can proudly say, look, this is me. This is what I did. This is the idea that I had. And like I said, now you got to put it into motion once you get the idea, right? And things can become a little bit tougher at that point. They don't have to be. Here's where I think that most people end up failing, is that they have that belief system in place that suggests that things are hard. Oh my God, that's hard. Oh my God, this is hard. Oh my God, that's hard. It's like when, here's a perfect example. Any kind of system that's online, right? In Washington State, it's the Helm system that they use now for the Department of Health. And people are kind of panicked about, oh my God, how am I going to get my license done? And how am I going to, because that's the system you now need to fill out in order to get your license renewed and that kind of stuff. And in massage therapy, you've got to upload these things for your continuing ed and this and that. And people were panicking and it's all new and I don't understand and I'm afraid. And really what it all comes down to is just doing it. The instructions are all there. It's easy as can be when you yourself are able to, it's only as hard as you make it. Anything is ever only as hard as you, if somebody else can do it, I really want you to consider this. If somebody else can do it, there is no reason that I can think of. You may know some personal limitations that I'm unaware of, whether that's a physical limitation or something, but most people that I know, if you're a normal, active, adult human being, if there's somebody who can do something out there, you can do the same damn thing. Number one, if you're interested. Number two, if you put enough into it. And number three, most importantly, go back to number one, if you're interested. Right? If you really want to do it, you can do it. Now, there might be things that, well, I can't be a doctor anymore. Someone would say, well, no, but you could have been if you wanted to be, right? There was nothing in the way because somebody else has already done it. And if another human being has already done it, then there's absolutely no reason why you can't do it, right? And if you look at the world that way, if you look at these processes that way, it was a human being who designed these processes. It's a human being can figure it out. If you need help figuring out how to construct a class, if you need help moving it to that next stage, putting it down on paper, how do I figure out how to time this out? How do I figure out how to create something like this? Don't hesitate to get in touch. I help people with that kind of stuff all the time. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's stuff. I hope that you got something out of it. I really, again, I apologize for missing the actual live event. I was home terribly sick with food poisoning. I made a terrible choice on Friday evening, and anyway, I ate some leftover sushi that I probably shouldn't, well, now that I know, I shouldn't have eaten. So again, I apologize for not being able to be there on Saturday. I hope that you guys were able to get something out of this talk, and I'm going to go over things just here one more time just to make sure you get it all. So back at the beginning here. What you're going to do to figure this kind of stuff out, you're going to take the inventory first. Hypnosis is the engine, like I said. Number 2, you're going to take your strongest non-hypnosis skill, whatever that may be, and you're going to write it down. Then you're going to write down a real problem that people already pay to solve. Yeah. And then you're going to do what I call the forced blend. And on the page, you're going to write down your people, who your people are, what kind of people do you serve, what is the problem that they have, and what is that second skill that you're going to be able to create something with. Then you're going to complete that sentence, I help blank solve blank using blank powered by hypnosis. Yeah? And step number 3, the reality test. You're going to ask, would a stranger understand what you do in 15 seconds or less? Make sure you're able to answer that question. Because this is where the hypnosis stops hiding and you start being able to develop a program or a method or a process for yourself, right? And then you're going to anchor it in, and that's that part where you're writing down how are you going to actually make this happen. And if you need help with any of that, don't hesitate to get in touch. I've created a lot of these processes and programs, and I'm more than happy to help you create something for yourself so you can leave a mark in any of the communities that you wish to do so. My name is Anthony Gitch. You can reach me at anthony@anthonygitch.com. Very, very simple. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for the honor of being able to speak with you all. And if you need anything from me, never hesitate to ask. We are always looking for people and I'm not speaking for the board or anything like that, or for the committee. It's not a board, it's a committee. I'm not speaking for them, but I am saying that if you are a hypnotherapist, or even if a public member would like to be a part of our group, we would certainly appreciate that. We need another hypnotherapist on the committee. And again, that's the Washington State Department of Health's Advisory Committee for Certified Counselors and Hypnotherapists. Don't hesitate to get in touch with me if you have any questions. Take care, everybody, and have a great evening, afternoon, or day. Bye-bye.